It's here, my course, Reputation Management for Brands and Businesses, your first step, your guide into getting a process like reputation management into your workflow, into your work stream. Maybe it's you doing it, maybe it is somebody else in your team. It could be a junior member of staff who actually doesn't have PR experience, and this guide will essentially explain things to them. And the great thing about public relations, especially with a process like reputation management, is that it is iterative. You have to sort of like just do it regularly to get much more sort of competent and confident with it. The other thing is also your brand, your reputation, it's something that's constantly changing, and you are passively and perhaps hopefully intentionally picking things up all the time. You're always improving your insight when it comes to your audience and your brand. So you're never ever going to be a complete sort of expert or a perfectionist. Perfect. You're never going to be absolutely perfect at any given moment. But what you do have to be is prepared. Oh, that line was brilliant. You don't want to be perfect, but you want to be prepared. You absolutely want to be prepared. And that is what my course is for. It's about getting you prepared. So I thought I would do in this episode, and I have been busy getting this course up on Kajabi. Woo for Kajabi, because I am finally on it. And it took me a minute to balance everything else and get it done, but I got it done. A free ebook is available. Woohoo! And now this course. So, the thing about this course is my first one, and I've done lots of trainings in person and online, but a recorded course is very different. And I have a lot of information that I want to share. And I've kept this course quite high level. And there's certain sort of things that I just want to pick out in this video for you to explain them to you, what's super important for you to sort of get started with your reputation management. But I kept it high level, but there was a lot of detail still. So you're going to have your pen and pencil, and your notepad ready. I mean, there is so much detail that you probably want to replay it again. Luckily, it's not sort of heavily sort of like I've gone rid of a lot of the jargon. I've explained some of the jargon, so it's not heavy with corporate jargon, but there might be and there will be some new things that you are going to sort of have to get familiar with, and that's the whole point. That is the whole point, for you to get familiar with this process of reputation management, put a process in place, and then just flow with it, evolve with it, iterate on it. So the thing about your brand and your business, it's constantly changing, but it's a living thing. It's an organism. That's how I've described it, and many others describe it. So you absolutely need to sort of have this reputation management, public relations stream happening in parallel. It's going to be quite closely related to what you do as an organization in your operations, whatever your thing is, whether it's a product or a service that you're offering. Have it sort of like going on in line. Now, I've got sort of checklists in the course, in the tutorial video, where I say, okay, you got to have this done weekly, you got to do this monthly. But if you're having a weekly meeting, you should have reputation management as one of your agenda points. But let's get into just, a specific area that I would like to just focus on for this video. So that's quite a long intro just to kind of tell you about the course a little bit. My bad if you're like waiting for the value. I'm going to give it to you now. So the thing about doing reputation management properly is not to take things personally. You absolutely should not take things personally, and let me explain why. So I'm going to just very briefly, just because I don't want to like give too many not spoilers, but I can't give it all away here. Of course I can. I'm going to give you some value. So let me get to the one that the piece that I really want to share with you. And this is about critical thinking. It is about controlling the urge that we all have to respond. So let's go to the slide that I use within my course, and it's called don't take it personally, but it's titled Taking It Personally. So let's talk a little bit about this, and yeah, I think it will be useful for us to, in this video, think about what is it that makes us take things personally with our brand and business, and kind of gets in the way of our ability to manage manage better, right? Our ability to manage better. So let's do that. I had to change my background. It was kind of giving tech show. Actually, that's better. Let's do that. It's better. So the urge to respond is there all the time, especially in this climate that we're in right now, because you have your audience and your following and your customers constantly able to just sort of jump on their screens and tell you exactly what they think and how they feel about you, what you're doing, what you're offering them. And it's easy to just sort of immediately sort of get into the comment section and respond to them. But you might not be prepared. In fact, you definitely won't be prepared unless you do the thing that I tell you in the course, and that is to have a plan ready that you iterate on. Iterate is just going to be my favorite word, but a plan that you will constantly evolve and build on and tweak. Within that plan, you have some sentences, I call them lines, but you have some sentences ready for you to literally copy and paste. And even the practice of just preparing a statement, preparing a response, gets the words and the terminology ready for you up here in your dome. And what happens then is, let's just say if you do have the urge to respond and you immediately go for it, at least you kind of pulled from that preparation, you pulled from those words. So the urge to respond is there. Don't do it. It is so easy just to kind of, you slipped, and now you have pretty much within a minute, a second, a moment, you have taken your reputation down a trajectory, down a path that it just really could have done without. It really could have done without. One way of combating this, aside from preparation, is for you to view your feedback objectively, because all the feedback that you're getting, all the comments, the opinions, everything that's sort of coming through, you have to absolutely apply critical thinking. You need to take a step back. You need to view things objectively so that you can get the most important, valuable thing, logical thing from it, so you can then respond to that. Listen, when somebody's complaining to you personally, and actually, let's just do this. I'm going to talk to you about this because this came up a number of times and I really wanted to get into depth on this in the course, but then I had my whole course outline and I just didn't want to sort of like go off on a tangent, but now's the time to go on a tangent. Personally speaking, when you're in relation with somebody, they say something and you're taking it personally because, it's triggered you, that word, that thing that they've used, they brought up that event again, or that aspect of your character that you really don't like coming under fire. You get fired up. Get to that feeling. Are you feeling it in your shoulders and your head? You're feeling it somewhere for sure. And you're like, I just want to get away from this. And what you're going to do, you're going to react, you're going to run, you're going to flee, you're going to fight, you're going to freeze. What are you going to do? You're going to react. And we don't want to do that. We want to take the feedback objectively. How do you do that? It takes a lot to detach. And when your brand and your business is your baby, it's like you. When someone's attacking it, it's like they're attacking you. So what do you do? What do you do in this instance? Take a beat, take a moment. In fact, if you're face to face with someone, let them see you take a moment. If you're on screen and someone's essentially just asked you a question that you're not comfortable with, don't do the politician thing. Don't sort of just look at camera and just be like, well, the thing about taking it personally is that I will endeavor to view this feedback objectively. Thank you very much for giving me your feedback. And then not actually acknowledge it. Don't do that. We don't want to do that. Take a moment. Let them see that you are actually bothered to take a moment to reflect and respond rather than just react instantly. Because remember, that urge to respond is there. Let them see, like, demonstrate what leadership is. Demonstrate that this is actually how you respond to feedback that is challenging. And demonstrate that actually you're open to it. And if it challenges you, that's fine. So you've asked me something about why my course is so overly detailed and doesn't have video animation in it. Okay, that's your imaginary hypothetical criticism. So what it sounds to me is that You want it this way. I want it that. Sorry, couldn't help myself. You want it this way, and I'm providing it to you another way than expected. Let's be clear. My videos show me speaking to camera or showing slides. So I'm kind of setting the tone of what my training usually is. I'm growing as a trainer and an educator, although I've been an expert in this field for quite some time. So maybe graphics, animations, something like that will actually make its way into the mix. For me, the main mix is me speaking directly to my person. Um, and visual aids, I'm not quite sure what the purpose of the visual aids will be, since what I'm describing has a lot to do with thinking, forecasting, looking at sort of your metrics, your audience sentiments, doing some planning. I suppose some graphics could come up in between the slides to make things a little bit jazzy, might make the training a little bit longer, might add a little bit of visual noise. And I don't necessarily want to do that. I'm trying to give the information in a way that provides people with the value straight away. And I'm trying to provide the value instantly, straight away, immediately. Like, I'm trying not to sort of beat around the bush. So I'll bear it in mind. I mean, what I did there was I acknowledged that there was something lacking for the person. I explained what my approach is, why I'm doing it this way, how I actually showed how I would possibly bring in their suggestion and what could work, what couldn't work. But I'll keep an open mind and let's see what happens with the next training. I mean, I was quite detached there. I mean, it was a hypothetical situation. I was kind of faking it, but I was quite detached there because I was allowing my eyes to kind of go off camera because I was actually really thinking about something. And there is this expectation that you are expected to like just be on the spot like a robot and just like answer perfectly. And you're kind of maybe blinking because you're like trying not to look away and you're trying to keep eye contact. I mean, let's be human with your followers and your audience and your customers. And 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 that way you might find that when you are listening to them and responding to them, but listening to understand, hello, listening to understand, you might find that they appreciate you're being a human, you know, that you appreciate you're being a human. I think that is the essence of critical thinking. That was going to be the next point on that slide, but I wanted to kind of go off on this tangent and give you a little bit more about, you know, being able to detach and view things objectively and not respond and sort of fight that urge to respond. But I think this is the essence of critical thinking, where you are able to take a step back. I think that being aware of your cognitive biases, the kind of subjective models that we have in our minds of how we see things, can also help us become a bit more or a lot more sort of empathic and compassionate of others, especially if they have a contrary view to ours. And then when they are providing us with feedback, we might not take it so personally because, oh well, it's fine to not be for everyone, or it's fine to maybe miss the mark a little bit with one person or a segment of your following or your audience, your customers, and you learn from that. There's always a learning somewhere. Ugh, corporate word, learning. Ugh. Anyway, I just really, really, really wanted to kind of give you that sort of encouragement, that kind of way of approaching any kind of challenging feedback, and to be as objective as possible and get the learning from you. Maybe there's another learning in there, in that people are receiving information so many different ways and they want to be entertained. Maybe that person wants me to make the content more entertaining. I mean, it was a hypothetical fake thing, so it's a bit bizarre for me to sort of continue down this line, but it's one way of just for me sort of demonstrating with you how you could, not should, how you could potentially sort of get some space from all of that. And that way, by doing that, you'll just have this sort of zoomed out approach. And by having this zoomed out approach, you can respond in a much more prepared and rational way, which is what we want. And this zoomed out approach is exactly what I'm doing in my zoomed out community on my site on Kajabi. So you can join there as well. Let me give you a few. things that you can do. You can download my ebook for free. You could sign up to my newsletter for free. You could join the community. You could get my course, Reputation Management, and put a process in. You cannot be as hot as me right now because I am, and it's hot here. And you could join here. You could like subscribe. At the very least, you've watched, you've liked, hopefully, and you've commented to let me know what your challenges are with reputation management. And I'll be able to sort of jump in the comments and we can have some conversation back and forth. But I really do appreciate you, your time. All the links are provided, and I will see you in a much more cooler state, I think, hopefully, next time.